Seek simplicity, but distrust it. Alfred North Whitehead. My friends, we seek simplicity all the time, but we also do a number of things to make sure we are back checking ourselves, such as following all the charts all the time. Remember, the weekly vertical crossovers are the key to what we do. We want to see support on that 2-day, and we want to check out what's going on intraday on our 195-minute or half-day chart. Now, let's jump into these charts. By the way, Patreon members, Wednesday, live question and answer call-in session, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead, send in your questions and the ETFs or stocks you want us to help you backtrack for practice trading. If you can't join us, we'll send you the video of the session. We're always able to get those out, God willing. All the technology will be working. We'll provide you with it as we always do. So if you're not a Patreon member and want to join us once a month for that live question and answer call-in session, plus have the weekly 20 weekly vertical crossovers, in addition to what we do on Wednesday nights, where we actually review cryptocurrencies, we have that available too. So consider being a Patreon supporter at any of the 3 levels. Stocks up for the day. Nasdaq 100 up most nicely at 3.20%. S&P 500 up 1.8%. 20-year bonds down about 0.5%. And gold up 0.59%. Bitcoin tagging along there at 1.79%. So nice turnaround as we start the week. We had 3 strengthening down candles, and now we have a bit of a respite. Doesn't mean the rest of the week isn't going to be down, but starting off the week with a green spinning top, not quite a doji. Price percent oscillator losing some of that downward pressure. Derivative oscillator still oscillating strongly down 2-day. Now remember that last 2-day candle that we had was the Thursday-Friday candle, the 26th and 27th of last week. That was a solid green candle, little wick on top, long wick on the bottom. A slowdown in the down movement, didn't hit the lower low as previously. Price percent oscillator still negative, heading up. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. First day of this latest 2-day candle. Half day, that's where you can see where things bounded down to the bottom on Monday the 24th, slid along trying to gain a little energy, and then we saw where things sort of started moving down some on Thursday, peaked up on Friday, and then up Monday in the morning and the afternoon. That's nice to see. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things and see how they develop further. That is where we are with stocks. Slow down in the down movement, but still lots of downward pressure on the S&P. Let's go to the Nasdaq 100, up 3.20% after 3 increasing weeks of downward energy. It's nice to see that price percent oscillator slowing a little bit in its descent, and the derivative oscillator also not adding compound to injury there. Green spinning top we have. 2-day, again, similar to the S&P, we can see where things started slowing down at the end of last week. And the price percent oscillator is very similar to the S&P, as does the derivative oscillator. We look at the half day, and you can see at a day and a half of strong upward movement after a lot of downward pressure pushing right up on that 2-day trend line just below the weekly. So we'll continue to watch and see how things develop. One day doesn't change a trend. Still lots of downward pressure. Look at 20-year bonds down for the day, 0.52%. Of course, we had 3 weeks of, well, actually that's 5 weeks altogether, reached a lower low back on the week ending the 21st of January. This last week, a slowdown as far as the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks go, a green spinning top, some indecision this week, starting with some down movement, but not nearly as powerful as what we've seen previously, but that price percent oscillator still heading down. Derivative oscillator flattening, maybe losing a little bit of energy. Look at the 2-day. And again, you can see where this sideways slide has been underway for 6 days, going on 7 days. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. Price percent oscillator trying to turn a little green. First day of the latest 2-day candle, half day. Again, you can see a seesaw that's going on here. Overall, though, weekly still, good bit of downward pressure. 2-day weakening, but still down. We'll continue to watch and see how bonds move along. And of course, I'm curious as to how the rest of this week goes with this up day starting the week off on Monday and still all that downward pressure on stocks and bonds. What about gold? Gold up 0.95% for the day. Although we look at the 2-day and, start off with the weekly. I was there on the 2-day mistakenly. The weekly red down candle forming, price percent oscillator trying to cross over, going down. Derivative oscillator just sort of gone for right now. Again, we don't call a weekly vertical crossover until the end of the week. Here's the 2-day. Going into the 3rd day of strong down movement on gold, price percent oscillator crossing over, derivative oscillator trying to cross over. If this continues, of course, we'll draw that crossover once it occurs at the close of the market on Tuesday. Looks like that's probably going to happen. It's a pretty strong crossover. What about the half day? We can see where things pounded down for several days, and that started slackening up for the last day and a half. Price percent oscillator, though, still quite negative, but flat on the half day. Derivative oscillator still quite negative, losing downward momentum. So lots of downward weight and pressure on gold still. Lastly, we move to Bitcoin. Up for the day, 1.79%. Green candle, we've seen that before. Back on the solid green candle before Christmas. What did that do? Well, it just sort of let off the pressure. And then another 4 weeks of hammer down on Bitcoin. Derivative oscillator losing a little bit of downward momentum as the week starts. Price percent oscillator slacking off ever so slightly. Look at the 2-day. Again, you can see where we've not reached the low. The most recent low we hit on that last Monday, Tuesday of last week, the 24th and 25th, but a red down candle forming, price percent oscillator losing a little bit of energy. The derivative oscillator also, and we go to the half day, and we can see where things have rotated over and are moving up. See a little green there on the half day as things slide up that half day trend line. But still lots of negativity, lots of downward pressure on Bitcoin. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day. Always, Patreon members, thank you so much for your support. And guys, you want to help us out with our metrics, would you subscribe at YouTube? Would you give us a thumbs up? If you're listening to us on our podcast, would you give us a 5-star rating and say something nice about us? Share our channel with other people. We do this for free for you each and every day. All we ask is that you spend 10 to 15 minutes with us to learn those market nuances. You will get better at this the more you do it. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.